oh my God, they finally did it. The US bought TikTok. BookTok is dead. They've murdered it. We're all gonna lose all of our money and nobody's gonna make any money on BookTok except calm down. Okay, calm down, everyone. I cannot tell you how many emails and personal messages and Instagram DMs I've gotten because of the fact that TikTok has been sold to a US company. Not all of TikTok, the portion of the algorithm and user base that is located in the United States recently got sold to a US company, more accurately a group of companies, including places like Oracle, which, political stuff aside, it's very scary, okay? Especially when you are making money trying to sell books on TikTok, or you were like, I was just gonna get started, but then they sold, so now I'm gonna just wait it out. Well, hear me out. You need to stop trying to wait it out. You need to stop waiting to see how things go before you try the thing. If you don't know who I am, I'm Kate Hall, author of such books as Smut, Slightly More Smut, A Metric Fuck Ton of Smut. I have also helped over 3,000 authors make money using TikTok and social media to sell their books. And I use social media to sell my own books. This is what I do to make money from my books. I use social media, I use TikTok as like my main thing because consistently for years and years, TikTok has had the highest ROI, not just on like ad spend and spending money, but as far as time investment goes, if you do it right, TikTok will make you a lot of money compared to a very small amount of time that you're putting in. I'm currently putting in about 5 hours a month of work posting my books on 6 TikTok accounts every single day. And if I were to up that to, 12 hours a month or something so that I could post 2 or 3 times a day, I would be making a ton more money from my books. But my books aren't my absolute main focus right now. Even though I know I could be making a lot more money from them, I'm mainly doing it to show here's what to do and how to do it so that other people can say, oh, okay, that makes sense. I even have my Amazon dashboard pulled up here with like my current earnings for January, which January's been very low because TikTok was selling to a different company in the United States. But here's why you don't need to freak out, okay? Don't panic. As of recording this video, the sale went through like 3 days ago and everybody panicked because they got 0 views on all of their content across the board and they were like, oh my God, TikTok is dead now. It's been murdered by the US government. But within 24 hours of the changeover, views started to stabilize. Not just for me, but for literally thousands of other creators, authors, etc. And like I said, I post on 6 different accounts, and these are all shadow accounts that don't use my face, don't use my name, don't use my notoriety in the author space to get views. This is purely shadow accounts that post scenes from my books, okay? My views were really, really low the day the switchover happened because it was a whole thing switching a bunch of servers over to this different company, to this different ownership. But here's a fun fact for you. ByteDance, the company that originally owned TikTok, doesn't own the algorithm in the US or the US data, but they do still own the ads platform. They still own TikTok Shop. And yes, that includes TikTok Shop in the US. They still own and control that. They own and control almost 20% of US TikTok access. So even though the algorithm is technically going to change a bit, it's not going to change that much. Sure, they're changing it over to the US algorithm and how things are working. And yes, this does affect a lot of people in a lot of spaces, especially people who are posting news or political content. But as far as being an author of fiction books or, storytelling type books go, like whether it's a memoir or a smutty romance novel, this really won't affect you all that much. Even though a lot of people are saying, well, I'm leaving TikTok for this new platform that just came up and is unproven and has 100,000 downloads to TikTok's 3 billion downloads, or I'm going to use this other platform or this other one. The truth is, when we think about, the death of a good platform, it's usually not as big of a deal as people think. A lot of us saw MySpace go down and get brutally murdered because Facebook started existing, but that hasn't really happened on a massive scale with a social media platform in a really long time. Twitter is still functional as X. There are still millions and millions of users. And yes, a lot of people left and a lot of people were affected by the ownership change on that platform and the name change and all of the that went down with how they ruined the app basically. But a lot of people still use it. A lot of people still make money from it. The truth is, even though people are talking about this mass exodus of people leaving TikTok and how it's going to be useless, most people, the strong majority of people who are just casual users, aren't going to change their day-to-day habits. They're just not. I know that you might think, because you're reading the news and you're seeing other people talk about it and you're seeing other people try to migrate to other platforms, you're seeing all of this because you're worried about what's going on. The only people who are actually seeing stuff about that and who are actually worried about it are people who are looking into it. People who are worried about how it's going to affect them, not the general user base. And the general user base is the majority of people who read books. Okay, the majority of people who read books and get their recommendations on TikTok aren't going to go find another app. Unlike what a lot of people were saying last year, you didn't even have to download a new app for the changeover to happen for you. It was literally, if you're in the US or you're using the US app, the changeover already happened. And yes, the terms of service were very, very concerning, but honestly, they're no worse than the terms of service for using things like Facebook Messenger. Did you know that Facebook Messenger has a feature where if you connect to Wi-Fi, it can connect to other devices on that same Wi-Fi? Even if those devices do not have Facebook Messenger, they can access data from those devices, including contact lists and personal information from people. It's completely insane. But the point is, if you are using TikTok from purely a marketing perspective, specifically to market books, you're not using it for a bunch of political stuff, and you're not using it as a journalist who is critical of what's going on in the world right now, then it's fine. Yes, there's a lot of bad stuff going on in the world right now. Everything is a show. But from a book marketing standpoint, TikTok is still fine. It's still functional, okay? You can still use it. You can still market your books there. You can still do your slideshow accounts, or you can do your face account and do TikTok shop. It still works. And if you want TikTok book marketing to work for you and you don't want to just try to figure out how to do the things specifically yourself, make sure to check out the link in the description for my TikTok cheat sheet, or you can also keep watching because I'm going to give you some tips. The first thing, like I said earlier, keep up with shadow accounts. These are accounts that don't necessarily have your name and personal information involved. Do not click allow contact sharing when the pop-up comes up, okay? Like, sure, you have to agree to terms and conditions to use a service, but you can just click for it to not allow the app to access your contacts. You can click the button that says it shouldn't be able to access your personal data for like ad purposes and for like targeted marketing purposes. And then just use this shadow account strategy to post photo slideshows. This is also known as photo carousel mode or photo mode, whatever it is, okay? It literally just means posting photos that are still images that people can swipe through at their own pace. The reason that I always recommend these and that I always talk about them is not because they're in my course that's available that a lot of people have used to be extremely successful. It's because they have the highest ROI consistently, okay? My course goes over a lot of shit. It goes over face content and aesthetic content and non-slideshow, but people generally take the course for the slideshow purposes. But the point is that these slideshows have the highest ROI. If you're spending a lot of time and energy on your marketing, these slideshows are going to have the highest return on your time investment when it comes to sales, as long as you are pulling scripts and good emotional scenes that get people to go and read your books. If you're not doing TikTok shop, they bring in a lot more money per like or save or whatever than any other type of video, than influencer videos, than you as the author being like, so I wrote 500 words today and they were bad words, so I'm gonna have to delete them tomorrow and remake them. Because guess what? Readers don't care. Make these slideshows, post things that readers care about, and then just put your book title in the description. Do not make it an ad. People don't want to see ads. They scroll past ads automatically. So if it looks like an ad, they're more likely to keep scrolling. If it doesn't look like an ad, they're more likely to stay on your content, and then that is more likely to go viral because people are staying on that piece of content to go through and read all of the slides on the slideshows. And each slide is not a big wall of text. You're not doing 10 chapters from your book. You are doing a 300-word scene and condensing it down to 10 or fewer words per slide and just posting those types of scenes over and over and over again. You don't have to put in a ton of effort as long as you're pulling good scenes. Also, as far as things that look like ads go, cover reveals or, Canva graphics that have a bunch of words on them and 99 cents, oh, it's on Kindle Unlimited, oh, here's the cover, by the way, oh, here's the character art. That kind of stuff people aren't interested in. They don't care about it as much as you do. They need something that they care about. But also, when it looks like an ad, social media platforms overall, not just TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all of these things are things that this applies to. You can use this advice for any platform, not just TikTok. If it looks like an ad, these platforms are going to want to make money off of them, and then you're putting money into content that doesn't do well organically, and therefore you'll be pumping money into this thing that people aren't interested in, that doesn't actually get people to buy books. And you also need to make sure that you are not spending money on low-performing posts. You're not promoting posts when it's like, hey, your video could do better. It got 50 views, but it could get thousands if you just spend $30. This trains the algorithm. When you actually do this, it trains the algorithm to say, oh, if Kate's videos perform badly, she'll dump a bunch of money into the posts so that they get basically the bare minimum of views that she would usually expect. On the other side, if you do want to start putting money into posts and using the promote feature, I highly recommend picking posts that are already doing well, that already have more than 10,000 views, because that doesn't just mean that you're putting money into something that's already proven itself, that can already succeed and go viral. It also shows the platform that you are willing to put money in if they give you a lot of views, which means your content is more likely to get good views, to go to the right places before you would ever have to start spending money on it. And the ad spend ends up being cheaper, and your ROI, your return on your investment, ends up being significantly higher. You're gonna make a lot more money that way because you're getting content that's already doing well and boosting content that's already doing well. This can actually cause content that was doing really well, that got 10,000 views or 20,000 views, to not just get the promotion amount of views of 2,000 or 3,000, it can give it an extra life and get it to go more viral. A video with 20,000 views, if you pay to get 1,000 more views or 2,000 more views because it's slowed down, that can make that post get 50,000 more views because the ones you paid for were already good views, because TikTok already knew exactly where to place the content for the highest return, for the highest number of likes, for the highest number of saves and favorites and shares. When it's already had viral potential, they know where to place it, and your money isn't going to waste. If you want to learn exactly what I do to sell my books, to make a living as an author, and that I've helped 3,000 other authors do, make sure to check out the link in the description.